everybody, my name is Joey Balistreri. If you're new here and don't know my long Italian last name, I'm going to be doing a project today with the Magical Mystery Bead Box for the month of July 2025, and it was based on, the theme was on a Shakespearean comedy called Midsummer's Night Dream, and I'm taking a few of the beads from the King Oberon bead mix. These are the most magical little pots you can make and make and make, and you still have a full pot. I don't know how they do it, but I've taken out these really dark teal crystal rondelle, not rondelle, but crystal, yeah, they're rondelles. They're, like you can see the profile there, faceted, and they had cloisonne beads in the mix, and I am so inspired by these. I think you know, that this play was set in an enchanted forest, and I think with the flowers and like the dark ground, I thought those were really pretty, and they kind of inspired me to pull something from my stash. I'm gonna do kind of the body of my necklace with the Amethyst Nugget bead strand, Met My Moonlight. I need to cut this open. I won't be using the whole strand because this is not a full necklace. If you guys, well, for newer people, you probably will think it's strange, but those of you that come regularly to my channel and watch my videos, you might have already guessed why, because if you haven't done one of these for yourself or seen mine, I'll show you. This is one of my base necklaces. This is the part that goes behind my head. This is a solid brass, gold-plated and E-coated chain, so it doesn't tarnish, so it won't last forever. It's not solid gold, but really long-lasting, and I have decorative lobster claw clasps on this end, and then I make like mini necklaces that can add in to my base necklace, so I don't need to string a whole necklace length every time I get a bead box. And when I looked at this, there really wasn't enough of the nuggets to do a necklace as long as I would want it. So, and I didn't want it to get too busy because I want to do some busyness on a focal, like a really cool artisan pendant. So I have this, you see this is just a scrap. It's like what, 2 inches, 2.5 inches of this gorgeous ribbon in my little ribbon scrap box that I pulled out. I just love the colors in it. There's a little bit of teal. Can see I love the shiny gold and the purple and the burgundy, and I just love it. So I folded it in half, and I am going to put one of these little ribbon ends on that, and then I have this filigree piece which I intend to fold in half. I recently did a necklace project where I did that, and it was just so stunning and so fun, and I'm going to do that again. So this is this one is quite sturdy, and I have had this forever. I will try to link this in my description box if I can find something like this. I did recently get these in the bright shiny gold, and they are that really malleable metal. It was super easy to fold this in half. So I'll do a little research when I edit the video in case you're interested in this filigree, but I'm just going to start bending this really gently. The other necklace that I did this off camera because I was really just playing, tinkering, literally. And as I was tinkering, it was turning out so beautiful that I thought, well, I better show everybody what I'm doing. So I'm going to do this again, and you can see this one is pretty tough. And what I want to do is just fold it evenly so that this is right in the middle, so I don't want to mangle my filigree. So it's maybe a little bit at a time. That's what I did on the other one. And you can even get your pliers to kind of, because I want it to bend right here. I'm just going to work at this. See how I'm getting it even so that this is on the top. That's my goal. And you may have filigree and not this exact one. Your pattern may be a little different, may make it so that you need to do a little bit different modification, like this one isn't quite so open. So that one was much easier to fold in half. So, you know, if you have any of these and you want to try modifying them, you know, just go slowly. That's my advice. Just go really slowly. As you can see, I'm not rushing it, and I'm checking that I'm not mangling it or distorting it. Okay, that is pretty good. Now, I want this to hang this way, and I am going to be connecting right to this part of the pattern here. I also have these cloisonne donuts. Aren't they stunning? And I can definitely link these. I have 4 different colors of these. I just got them. I am a little bit obsessed with donuts and rings, glass rings, and those types of beads, and I've been collecting them for a long time, but right now my brain is designing with these a lot. So the cloisonne in the box kind of inspired that. So the other thing I'm going to be using here is some of my favorite jump rings set. There was an enormous amount in this order, gold and silver, and I'm going to be using the gold, and there are 4 sizes in this. This one is really huge. I think this is 14 millimeter, and I think this one might be 5 millimeter. I'm going to try with this one. There's silver and gold in this, and these are stainless steel, and they're gold plated or silver plated if you're using that, but they are really, really sturdy, but the diamond cutting makes them just sparkle, and they just look beautiful. And so I also am going to be mixing, probably you picked up on this already, this is my favorite metal, and I have this really bright metallic gold thread in my ribbon. So I'm going to be mixing this dark bronze, which to me is like the warmest gold, and some bright gold. So I'm going to mix that throughout my piece. The only issue with these rings, these jump rings, is finding where they open. They're so well made and so thick that sometimes I have trouble finding the opening. So what I'm going to do is open this, and I'm going to get it through here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of my filigree. And absolutely it needs to be closed really well. But these jump rings, when they are closed, you cannot find the opening. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm also going to take my nylon jaw pliers, and I don't want to mar this or damage it, but I want this to be closed up a little bit more. And I'm going to get out 2 more jump rings, but in the next size up. I might even need to go up 1 size. Nope, that's not what's going to work. That's one of the reasons I love this set of jump rings, is designing with these is amazing because you have all the different sizes, and also if you need a beautiful chain for like an extender chain, or if you're making earrings and you need a little segment of chain and you don't have it, linking these together makes a beautiful chain, and they you know, they're strong enough for that. It's a really, really strong jump ring, really thick gauge. So I'm going to open this. What I'm doing is preparing this for the rest of the connecting. So I'm going to feed this one through this little side, this part of my filigree. And what I'm looking at is I need the jump ring to clear the top of my filigree, and it looks like it will. Just going to close it really well. And same thing. I'm working with the pattern that's on the filigree, so I'm going to put another jump ring right there. Okay, so it is ready. I'll be pulling those up to the top like that to make my connection to go into my necklace. But don't you just love getting a component or anything with a bunch of openings? You can just go, your design brain can just go crazy having fun with that. And as you can tell, I am. Okay, let's get this ready. This is super simple. I'm just going to match up the 2 ends of my beautiful tapestry ribbon from my scrap bag, literally. And I'm going to get my flat nose pliers for this. It helps me to have, you know, because I want to close this down. I'm also going to close it a little bit before, just close it a tiny bit. It's open pretty wide. Let's close it a little bit and just get it centered on my tapestry here and close it. Just, you can put glue on these, but I don't feel like I need it. This is going to be the final drop on my necklace, final embellishment. So I don't feel like I need glue. The little teeth, I'll show you as soon as I can get my fingers out of the way. But see the little teeth on it? They grab right into the textile and it's not coming off. If I was going to put something through here and hang it. I might have put a little bit of glue, but even then, I don't feel like I need it. It's just, you know, really how you feel about the quality of your piece if you're doing this. And so my ribbon, let's see, like I said, it's a scrap. So let me choose the best side to be the front. Let's see. I think I like this side. I like that little thing in the front. So that's going to go like that. And then I am going to take these crystals and some 8/0 gold seed beads, and I need to decide if I want to use my soft flex bead stringing wire, which is what I'm going to use for the beaded part. I have already chosen the Metallics Antique Bronze. It's such a good match for this. So I'll be doing my necklace on that part, but I need to decide if I want to do this ring component, and I'll kind of show you. It's one of these. I'm going to do one of my ring components, and like this one is done on the soft flex wire, but I could do this one. Actually, I have a scrap of wire, so let me just play for a second and decide how I want to make my ring, if I want to do it with my soft flex wire and a number 2 crimp tube, or if I want to do it on like 22 gauge wire. So let me play and see what's going to work the best, and then I'll share it with you. Okay, decision made. I am going to do it on my soft flex wire. It's just so easy, and this is the pattern that I came up with. And I debated about not doing the cloisonne beads because they have a black ground and this has an eggplant. My donut has an eggplant ground that really matches this so well. But I do kind of like it. And so if you're doing these rings and you're attaching like what I'm doing, an even number is what's necessary. And my seed bead is missing here from the middle because I'm going to make a component out of this, and it's going to attach right there. And then at the top, I'm going to have, I just put 2 seed beads on each side, and then this crimp tube is going to be the 5th seed bead, and that little section is what's going to cradle in those bottom jump rings. Sometimes when I'm explaining, I feel like it would be better to just be quiet and show you. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but I'm putting my soft flex wire through the number 2 crimp tube, 1 wire in that, whoops, sorry guys, 1 wire in that direction and 1 wire in that direction. And I'm just going to pull, and I always start with it tight, but it's not going to stay a tight ring like that, and you don't really want it to be because you need to be able to get a jump ring in here. What I'm going to do a jump ring for this, like right in between there, and then you want a little bit of space for that, and you don't want your ring to be super tight. So I have it pulled tight to start with, but I'm going to come in with my magical crimping plier. And when you are using this plier where there are seed beads on both sides of your crimp tube, go slowly, because if you crush your seed bead, you lose your pattern, and then you just have to start all over if you crush a seed bead on either side. Also go slowly, and you don't want to close down on the plier until you can feel that you're in the center. I feel that I'm right in the center, so I'm going to squeeze, and I have turned the number 2 tube into a little square with 4 pinched corners. Now I want to fit my tool in the opposite direction. I just felt it slip in the center, close down in that direction, and now just go around a few times. That is turning the tube into a bead. It looks a lot like an 11/0 seed bead because 11/0 seed beads are 2 millimeter, and these crimp tubes are 2 millimeter from Soft Flex Company. And as you can see, this is an 8/0 gold seed bead, so can you see there is a difference in size, but it camouflages so beautifully when you trim really close. And those of you that have been on my channel, this is not a new technique. It's tried and true, and I just love it, and I love the geometry of the ring. So I'm going to go back into my jump ring assortment here, and I'll get another one of this size. And that's going to just go through this loop and in between those 2 dark teal crystal rondelles. Okay, so you see what I mean about the space. it just works beautifully. And look how gorgeous that looks. You cannot see the crimp bead in there. Okay, I am going to have to open these again. I wasn't thinking ahead because I'm kind of designing this as I go based on my patterns and things, but that's okay. These jump rings are so sturdy, it will be fine. So I'm going to just open it enough on this side to get my ring, and I want, at this point I don't really have a forward, but I will. And I'm going to get that closed and then open the other one and get it attached right here. Look at that, it's so regal. It kind of does look like it would belong to a king or a queen, the tapestry and the rich deep colors. And I just love connecting in an unusual way, in an unexpected way. And I love the poetry of jewelry too. And so like knowing that Midsummer Night's Dream, it was a comedy. It was about four lovers' quarrels, but a lot of it took place like in an enchanted forest. And I just love that, you know, it's unexpected. In a forest, you never know what you're going to see. Things are a little bit wild, you never know what's around the next corner. And to me, this is a metaphor for all of that. And I just think it's gorgeous. And I just have to use my little donut bead as the topper of this amazing pendant. So I'm going to take a little piece of 20 gauge wire. I'm going to take this little scrap of wire and my 3mm one-step looper and just get a simple loop in here, feed my donut on and get a simple loop in the other end. I think, and maybe before I even make the component, maybe I should check and see. I know this is going to take a little bit larger of a loop to get through, and I think it's going to be fine. I didn't want it to be stuck because this pendant is just articulated all the way down in all those places. So I wanted that to move freely, and it does. And then I'll just feed on my little donut. Oh my goodness, I love that you can see the wire peeking through the window of the donut. It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness, how much do I love this. Okay, and then I need this loop to be going perpendicular to my mat because this is going to get strung in amongst the amethyst nuggets. So this has to go in this direction, and I can actually, let me just ignore my donut bead. I can actually even go down now to my 2¼ one-step looper because I don't need a giant loop on this end of the wire. So I'm going to hold that first loop so that it's parallel to my mat. The donut is, not going to stay parallel to my mat, but then I'm going to put this in the tool, and it's not a long enough piece of wire to use the guide hole, but that's okay. Let me close it gently and I'll show you. As long as your wire is past the back cutter, and if I can, I try to get my wire against the back plate of the tool, get a good grip, and it makes that cut for you. And just want to get my bead out of the way so I don't damage it. And then I'm going to pull this down as I'm closing so I can see that that loop is centered on everything. That looks pretty good. Okay. I love my pendant. I think that is stunning. It's so unique. Nobody else is going to have this. I love that. I'm just going to take a little length here of my antique bronze metallics. And I don't want to do a really long strung necklace section because my chain is already pretty long. So I'm just going to eyeball this, and I need to make loops on both ends. I'm going to just take about that much. I used 80 Miyuki Rocale seed beads, and I think those are going to be my loops. Now, and I'll show you, a lot of times I just let my soft flex wire show, but because I'm adding the bright gold in between the antique bronze, I want to have a seed bead loop that is pretty bright, and I need it to be large enough to clip right onto there. So I am going to start by feeding my, do I want to do that? I could also string from both sides, because I know that this has to go in the middle. So let me string my pendant on, and I'll just crimp. I'll make my loops and crimp last. I just changed my mind here a little bit. Look at that. Oh my, that is the coolest pendant. I just love it. So I am, let's see, what am I going to start with? These will not work. They're going to go inside my loop, I believe. Let me play for a second with how I want to start the pattern before I get into the amethyst nuggets. So it's going to be a super simple strung pattern of seed beads, an amethyst bead, seed bead, and amethyst bead until I get to my desired length. So I'm just going to string this up. So I just have, these are not marked, they're 11/0, and are they 11/0 or 8/0? They're 8/0, so that's perfect. And they're like that vitriol, so they have purple, gold, a little green, like all the colors. And I'm going to create my loops to attach here with alternating these two. And I see that I have a crimp tube that has an issue. Okay, so whoops, why is that moving? Oh, okay, I was worried that my clamp came off and I didn't want to lose all my stringing. So my loop looks like that. It's 3 of the purple, a gold, 3 purple, a gold, and I'm just going to come back through my crimp tube, and the other side is still open, so I don't need to worry about spacing or anything. And I am fairly certain, oh, does it go? Oh wow, it looks like my bead wire does go back down through the gemstone. I did not think it would. That always makes me happy when it does that, because it's just really pretty. You can't see where the piece starts and stops when you can hide your cut end in a bead. So before I crimp, I just want to make sure that this is going to look good and be easy to take in and off, on and off. Yes, it will. Beautiful. Okay, and it's decorative. I really like that. What is going on here? Okay. Okay, I'm going to bring my magical crimping plier in and do the same thing that we did on the ring. Okay, and let's see, it does feed down through. Look how beautifully that is finished. Okay, so I'm going to shush everything down to this end and do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, it's looking good. Just get in there with my tool. Is just beautiful. I just love this. I think this is stunning. It's so unusual and artisan. It's just absolutely incredible. And you know, I have these chains in my jewelry box that I've done out of leather. I do different things so that I have options when I go to, you know, get dressed. And it's just so fun to be able to concentrate on an artisan pendant and not have to worry about beading and, you know, the entire length of a necklace. But I love the way it's finished. And you know, if you ever find that your magical crimp here is looking too small for your design, you don't need a crimp cover over it, but you can put one. Okay, you guys, as always, I will put up better pictures, better angles when I make my long necklaces. They don't like to fit under the camera, and even these dramatic long pendants, they are not happy to be under the camera. But this is stunning, and check the description box for links to anything that I've used, and I'll put links to the Jesse James beads, and I have a discount code. So if you're interested in getting the Magical Mystery Bead Box every month, my discount code works for that. But if you don't want to get it every month, if you just want to buy a one-off, you can use my code for that. You can also use it to shop the website. And I have to tell you guys, for those of you that have not heard, I have been invited to be one of the instructors at summer camp this year. The classes are all recorded, and they will be recorded, and you'll have like a QR code that you can watch them on YouTube on this platform where you are now, and you get a kit for myself and all the other teachers. It's a great value. I even asked Sarah James for the tool that I like to use for the project that I'm going to do, and I'm so excited for it. I'm going to be recording my class really quickly here, really soon here. And so if you're interested in the summer camp, you can use the link that's in the description box here, because it will take you to I might even put a separate link that takes you right to the sign up for summer camp. I'll do that for you because it'll be a little bit easier. It's a really fun website. But this event, they've been doing it for, I think this is their 6-year anniversary, and it is such a great way to do a virtual event, have some private classes on your own terms, watch whenever you want, and I'm just super excited about it. So check my description box for those of you that are struggling with technology. You tap more under this video title, and then on my boxes you need to tap more again to reveal the whole thing, and all my information will be there. I hope everybody is safe and well and drinking a lot of water and being safe in this extreme heat, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao everybody.